In a surprising kind of hilarious move, Games Workshop has hit back at the scalpers rather hard, perhaps recognising a bit of community pressure here, and scoring a few more people the opportunity to buy a book at a price that isn't 6 times inflated. Hello and welcome back to Auspex Tactics, where today I thought it would be good to cover the rather big update on the scalping drama that Games Workshop had last week, and basically Games Workshop seeming to recognise that they have a scalping problem and choosing to hit them back quite hard on a couple of different fronts. For a quick recap, the book at the centre of the controversy was this volume of The End and Death Volume 3, pretty much the pinnacle climax book for the Horus Heresy, detailing Horus versus the Emperor, if anything perhaps the most single important 1 versus 1 battle in the entire 40k history, the climactic event of the Horus Heresy, and fully paving the way for the dystopian setting that is 40k in the more contemporary universe. This one went up for pre-order just over a week ago. It was available as a normal book, so if you just want the standard copy of this, that isn't what this video is about. This is about the collector's limited edition that got very scalped. 2,500 copies personally signed by Dan Abnett, described from Games Workshop as clad in a luxurious faux leather cover with some debossed gold details and a cast metal emblem of the Golden Throne. The price from Games Workshop for this was £50, so really quite expensive for a standard book, and it isn't going to be the sort of thing that I'd say that the majority of the 40k fanbase is going to be looking to pick up, but definitely has a big appeal to collectors and people willing to pay a lot to get their hands on one of these, as have been seen by this one and the previous copies that had also attracted scalpers. I'd argue that the special edition Black Library books might be more of a target for scalping and this sort of activity compared with model box sets. In general, for the most part, the miniature box sets that Games Workshop makes tend to be more kind of exclusive as a discount deal, so you'd only want to ever pay so much for them, or you could just wait for the miniatures to come out. Whereas these ones are pretty much just one and done. They'll sell a certain amount of these and they won't come back. As mentioned last week, it seems that these ones sold out in seconds to minutes, gone from the Warhammer web store about as soon as they got there, and that was despite Games Workshop imposing a 1 per customer limit, plus a queuing system, which to be fair to them has actually worked okay in the past, but it seems that the arms race of the internet has caught up with this, and the people buying these were armed with lots of bots, just flooding the queue with loads of fake accounts that could execute transactions pretty much instantaneously. Last week when I took a look, it looked like around about 300 copies had basically been pre-sold on eBay by scalpers who'd got confirmed orders just immediately listing them up for sale, and they were going for some ludicrous prices, around about £300 or $350, around about a 6 times markup on what Games Workshop would have sold them for, and even that wasn't super cheap or anything. All of these sales would have been absolutely against eBay's terms and conditions. I don't think you're allowed to pre-sale things that haven't actually been received yet, though it does look like loads of these transactions went through successfully if they're sold before they're reported. Overall, this was perhaps one of the single worst scalping events Games Workshop's ever had, and they've certainly had plenty between Lionel Johnson, Indomitus, and a fair few of their other one and done box sets. Today though, it sounds like Games Workshop are hitting back hard. I feel like community expectation maybe wasn't too high here, and just maybe hoping that Games Workshop might have chosen to learn some lessons for next time, and hopefully find some way of combating it in the future, but it looks like Games Workshop, having not actually sent these books out yet, have decided to hit the scalpers where it hurts. In a Warhammer community article published on the 22nd of January, over a week after the pre-sale, Games Workshop basically announced that 2,500 copies went on sale. They used their queuing system and limited copies to 1 per player, but however there was an influx of people buying multiple copies for resale despite this. Multiple accounts, multiple payment methods and things aren't too hard to use to circumnavigate that apparently. As a result, the action that they're apparently taking is that they say that they are trying to commit to sell 1 per customer, responding to the drama backlash and no doubt loads of feedback via their communication channels they'll have received, and they've said that they have rejected any orders when a purchaser has tried to get more than 1 copy. What's more, they say they aren't going to tell exactly what their criteria and approach are for determining who has had more than 1 copy. I guess there's various different things that they could judge by, even if people do have loads of different PayPal accounts or other methods of paying, they could still judge by delivery address or maybe IP address of where the orders were placed from. So hopefully might make it a bit more difficult for scalpers not knowing exactly what criteria they have to try and avoid. In the article, they also compared them to Erebus for good measure, the twisted and hated betrayer from the Horus Heresy. The reclaimed books from the cancelled orders will apparently be put back on sale on Wednesday the 24th. Overall, I must admit, I think this is really quite a fun dose of karma for the scalpers here. just turning around and punishing people, cynically exploiting other people's demand of a limited resource and adding absolutely no value into the bargain. Certainly feels pretty satisfying to know that a whole bunch of people who are just trying to profit off other people being disappointed and not getting what they want are having their lives made a little bit harder. I can't help but imagine that trying to sort out a whole bunch of high value cancelled eBay sales might be somewhat annoying for them. And in all honesty, I'm kind of surprised that Games Workshop made this much effort. It is pretty good credit for them. I think this might be the first time in the past where they've actually gone back and retroactively cancelled orders that were clearly scalped orders. Previously, they've done some of these made-to-order type runs, as they did with Indomitus in the past, or just said that they'd try and do better next time, or produce bigger supply or whatever. But I guess it must kind of unsettle any scalpers looking at new Games Workshop things, knowing that their orders might just all get cancelled at a moment's notice, and hopefully that might help to fight the problem in the future. It's highly likely it's eating into Games Workshop sales for the books to do this as well. They'll absolutely still sell all the books given that demand was so high, and get a big PR victory into the bargain for some admin work behind the scenes. I'm not exactly sure what the legalities are of cancelling orders and things like that are, but I can't help but think that anyone trying to scalp the book and buy multiple copies wouldn't really have a leg to stand on. It was clearly stated that it would be no more than one copy per person on the web store, and if they're just using multiple accounts to ship to the same address, then it doesn't really change that you buy more than one per person. In any case, the second sale of these will be going live on Wednesday apparently, at 4 PM UK time, 11 AM in New York or 8 AM in LA, and the other times across the world listed here. At least from the eBay sales that I'd counted, it seems likely that at least a good 400 plus copies will be going back, and there could honestly be far more depending on how many of these they've decided to root out or cancel. So at least that should be another chunk of hobbyists being able to get the book that they wanted at the price that Games Workshop are selling it for. Judging by the Deathwing release, it does look like they've taken some basic anti-bot measures. I did notice that they had a basic capture type thing that was shown on the pre-order process for Deathwing Assault. I have heard kind of dubious things as to how good they really are to determine bots and things, but I feel like at the very least they might be another hurdle to overcome that humans can do easily. So perhaps at the very least it could be temporarily helpful. I can't help but think though that these are still going to sell out pretty much straight away. With demand clearly so high and supply seems low, it still seems inevitable that most people who want one won't be able to get one. That's kind of the other lever that Games Workshop could pull, I guess. The other way to beat scalpers is just to have enough supply for everyone who wants one yourselves, so no one's paying the inflated prices. I guess perhaps that defeats the purpose of these limited edition type copies, I guess. And I feel like Games Workshop usually tends to err on the side of underproducing for the majority of box sets, so they know that they sell out besides the really big headline ones like Leviathan. In any case, let me know your thoughts on the entire escapade down in the comments below. I've certainly enjoyed a little bit of karmic justice there. Look forward to hearing your guys' takes. If you've enjoyed the video, then feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics, or I'll certainly keep the regular 40k updates coming. I do tend to post new stuff just about every day. Finally, if you have been enjoying the videos on the channel, I would just like to mention that Auspex Tactics does have a Patreon page as well, and you can find that linked in the video description if you'd like to help support the channel and keep these videos coming. Channel patrons do get a few advantages, seeing certain videos early, regular votes to see what's come next on the channel, and automatic entry into the regular prize giveaways with a chance to win some big model kits each month. If any of that sounds good to you or you'd just like to help support, the link is down in the video description. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.